This weekend we mark the annual Safeguarding Sunday in the Archdiocese of Dublin. The theme of this year's Sunday is Safeguarding a Gospel Value. This Sunday gives our dioceses and parishes an opportunity to reflect on how best to safeguard children and vulnerable adults on the ground, ensuring their safety while participating in parish life is to the forefront. For many, safeguarding is seen purely as a result of the terrible abuse of children in our church, where in fact safeguarding is the core of Jesus' teaching. It is also an opportunity for us through prayer and contemplation to reach out to the many survivors and victims of abuse in our church.
As a faith development worker in the Archdiocese of Dublin, much of the work I undertake is centred on engaging with families to support faith in the home and walk the wonderful journey of celebrating the sacraments. The line from Matthew's Gospel where Jesus says, "Let the children come to me, don't stop them," comes to mind. As a diocese, we strive to make sure that every child and family is in a position to undertake this journey in the safest and most respectful way possible, where nothing will stop them. Safeguarding Sunday and safeguarding in general is our commitment to letting nothing get in the way of experiencing the joy of faith.
As administrator working with the parish team, safeguarding is a vital part in the daily life of a parish, for those we encounter and indeed for all who minister to their fellow pilgrims. There are many people in our society who are vulnerable, and at different stages in our lives, we too can be vulnerable. Any of us can find ourselves in the same situation as the man who fell into the hands of robbers in Luke's Gospel. Some walked over to the other side of the street, but good safeguarding practice teaches us to be like the Samaritan and help those most in need. Our help might only be to point the person in the right direction, but it is never to walk away and allow a person to suffer.
As a child safeguarding representative here in the parish of Kilquaid, one of my roles is to be a link between the diocese and the parish to ensure that we maintain best practice and the highest possible standards when we talk about safeguarding both our young people and vulnerable adults. And a couple of the roles that we do as safeguarding representatives in parishes is firstly to make sure that people in certain ministries are Garda vetted, and also to ensure that safeguarding is on the Parish Pastoral Council agenda at every meeting to make sure that we have that constant awareness of the importance of it. And a third thing that we're very involved in is the whole education area, again to make sure that those working with young people and people who are vulnerable are aware of the proper guidelines to live within the legislation to ensure we do have a safe environment. And education, you'll remember, is part of our gospel values as well. If we think of Matthew's Gospel and the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus went up on the mountain to teach. And part of that teaching links in with what we are doing now with Child Safeguarding Sunday, which is in the church calendar every year in September. And part of all of that is really about reminding ourselves here in parish what is important about safeguarding and to review where we are at to make sure we have the proper procedures in place, and also to re-energise ourselves as we move forward for the coming year to ensure that our parishes, yours, mine, all the parishes in the diocese, are a safe and welcoming place for our young people and those who may be in a vulnerable place in their lives.
As a social worker of many years and a member of the Dublin Diocesan Child Safeguarding and Protection Service, I am acutely aware of the trauma, pain and suffering that survivors of abuse have suffered and continue to suffer. As a church, we must demonstrate our determination not to allow the crimes of the past to be repeated. We must ensure that the safeguarding of children and vulnerable adults is a priority for all our parishes and diocesan agencies. If you ever have a worry or a concern for a child or a vulnerable adult, Please never delay in making a report. We are always here to listen and assist you in any way we can.